The real Jack Reacher is responsible for two of the greatest scenes in Prime Video's series so far. When Prime Video brought Reacher to life, fans of Lee Child's best-selling novels held their breath. After all, the big screen version starring Tom Cruise had left many die-hard Reacher fans cold. Not because Cruise wasn't talented, but because he simply didn't fit the physical and psychological mold of the iconic drifter detective. Jack Reacher, as envisioned by Child, is a hulking, no-nonsense, calculating force of nature, a man who doesn't go looking for trouble but always finishes it when it finds him. With Alan Ritchson stepping into the boots of the ex-military cop, Prime Video's Reacher series finally gave audiences the real Jack Reacher. And that authenticity didn't just elevate the series, it resulted in two of the most unforgettable scenes in the show so far. These scenes work because they don't just show Reacher in action, they embody everything that makes Jack Reacher such a compelling figure. His intelligence, his moral code, his brutal efficiency, his complete comfort with being underestimated, and perhaps most importantly, his sense of justice. Let's take a deep dive into the two greatest scenes Reacher has delivered, scenes that wouldn't exist in the same powerful way without the real Jack Reacher as Lee Child intended. 1. The prison bathroom fight. Welcome to Margrave Season 1, Episode 1. It takes less than 30 minutes into the Reacher pilot episode to understand that this is not the same hero we've seen before. Arrested for a murder he didn't commit, Reacher finds himself thrown into a holding cell with some very bad company. The guards don't like him. The cops don't trust him. And the other prisoners think he's fresh meat. But they don't know Jack. The bathroom fight is short, brutal, visceral, and it's the first time viewers truly see what this new Reacher can do, and who he really is. Why this scene works so well. A. True physicality. Reacher is a tank. Alan Ritchson brings the physical stature from the books to life. 6'5", 250 pounds of muscle and momentum. When he strikes, it's not flashy, it's final. The way he disables 5 men in a tight, dirty bathroom is a masterclass in economy of movement. One head slammed into a wall. One elbow to the throat. Another guy thrown like a rag doll. This is not choreographed martial arts. This is military precision. This is violence as necessity. B. The real Jack Reacher's calculated calm. What truly sets this scene apart is Reacher's cold composure. He doesn't fight with rage. He doesn't show off. He anticipates every move before it happens. He even tries to avoid the fight until it's clear that violence is the only language these men understand. And when that moment arrives, Reacher becomes a surgeon. This is a man who has studied human behavior. A man who calculates damage with clinical detachment. The scene is terrifying not just because of the violence, but because Reacher doesn't enjoy it. He just knows what must be done. See, echoes of the books. Fans of the novels will recognize this moment as a spiritual twin to similar scenes in Killing Floor and Die Trying, where Reacher turns confined spaces into brutal traps for his opponents. The series took this signature beat and translated it directly into a visual spectacle, something the movies never quite captured. 2. The Warehouse Showdown, Piecemeal Season 2, Episode 7. Season 2 of Reacher, based on bad luck and trouble, brings a slightly older and even more lethal Reacher back into the fold, this time reuniting with members of his old MP unit. But one of the most satisfying and jaw-dropping moments comes late in the season during the warehouse ambush, when Reacher turns an orchestrated trap into a massacre. For the bad guys. The Warehouse Showdown isn't just about brawn, it's about brains. It's a scene that perfectly captures the other half of Reacher's persona, the chess master. Why this scene is a masterpiece. A. The predator becomes prey and then flips the script. Reacher and his team are lured into what's supposed to be a kill box. Dozens of men, automatic weapons, and a warehouse designed to corner and crush them. But Reacher doesn't just survive. He dismantles their plan one brutal step at a time. He uses the shadows. He uses the environment. He uses his understanding of human fear. The way he picks off opponents one by one, without wasting a single move, turns the scene into something between Die Hard and the Bourne Identity, except even more grounded. B. Reacher's loyalty and leadership. In the books, Reacher often works alone, but when he works with others, his loyalty runs deep. The warehouse scene shows him at his most protective and most commanding. He's not just a warrior, he's a leader. He gives clear orders. He watches his team's backs. He never panics. This isn't just a fight. It's a tactical war. And Reacher wins because he understands pressure better than anyone. See, psychological dominance. What makes Reacher such a unique hero is that he uses intimidation not for sport, but for survival. As the gunmen realize they're being hunted in the very trap they set, panic takes over. One by one, they fall. Reacher doesn't gloat. He doesn't taunt. He moves like a ghost, striking with precision, leaving a wake of shattered men behind him. This isn't about revenge. It's about restoring the order Reacher believes in. And in that sense, he's less of a hero and more of a righteous force. What these scenes say about the real Reacher: there's a reason these two scenes stand above the rest. They're not just cool action beats, they reveal character. Reacher isn't a quip machine. He's not interested in style points. He's not trying to prove himself. These are scenes that say, this is what happens when you mess with someone who understands the world's darkest edges and who lives by a code sharper than any knife. The real Jack Reacher, as portrayed in the Prime Video series, is not a superhero. He bleeds. He's haunted. But he's also relentlessly competent in a way that modern heroes rarely are. These scenes reflect a man forged by military law enforcement who learned how to survive not just with fists, but with his brain. In both the prison and the warehouse, Reacher wins not just because he's strong, but because he knows exactly when to hit, where to hit, and when to walk away. That's not movie magic. That's pure Reacher. Why Alan Ritchson's Reacher is the key. None of this would work without Alan Ritchson's performance. Physically, he embodies the Jack Reacher fans have always imagined. But more than that, Ritchson brings something deeper, a stillness, a tension, a sense of menace wrapped in calm. He doesn't overplay the character. He underplays him, letting Reacher's intelligence and presence do the heavy lifting. Ritchson's Reacher doesn't brag. He doesn't smile much. But when he walks into a room, everyone gets nervous. And when he fights, it's with the gravity of a man who knows what violence really means. These two scenes aren't just action set pieces, they're showcases of character-driven tension executed with style and substance. The kind of scenes you replay in your mind long after the episode ends. The Reacher legacy, simplicity with consequence. There's something refreshing about Reacher in an age of increasingly elaborate plot twists and morally gray protagonists. Jack Reacher is simple, but he's not shallow. His code is straightforward: protect the innocent, punish the guilty, never back down from bullies. But how he carries that code, with quiet power and unshakable focus, makes all the difference. The prison fight scene introduced that code to new viewers. The warehouse showdown reaffirmed it. And both prove why the real Jack Reacher, as Lee Child wrote him and Prime Video finally portrayed him, is the beating heart of the series' best moments. Conclusion: Reacher isn't just a character, he's a statement. In a television landscape crowded with anti-heroes and complicated motivations, Jack Reacher stands apart. He is clarity. He is consequence. He is every bad man's worst nightmare and every victim's best hope. The two greatest scenes in Reacher so far don't just thrill, they reveal. They show thanks to Alan Ritchson's